All right, so this is 7-6, factoring with a lead coefficient. We've switched around a bit. And so, I'm going to talk about, let's go. When I'm given this, we can double distribute that. And we know that when I double distribute, I'd get 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. Well, today's lesson is, when given a trinomial like this, how do I get this answer of these factors? So if I'm given 6, what are the factors of 6? 2 times 3, right? Oops, that was supposed to be a times. 2 times 3. So I want to know what are the factors for this. Now we know them, but I'm going to show you the process because we're not going to give them to you next time. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do is make our little vision, a little X marks the spot. When you have a lead coefficient, you are going to multiply the first and the last term together. And what do I get?
30x.
I'm going to get a 30, just the 30. And then I'm going to take, and notice I put that right up here. And then I take that linear term and I'm putting it right here. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm always going to use, can you see that? The first term and the last term. Okay, so this is 2x squared I'm going to use, and I'm going to use the constant term 15. Now, what are two numbers that multiply to 30 but add to 13? Platty? 10, a positive 10, and a positive 3. Now, look what I'm going to do. I'll actually change those colors and show you. We said a positive 10 and a positive 3. And the order doesn't really matter. Okay? So I'm going to go like this, positive 10x, positive 3x. I'm just really using those two to break up this middle term. Notice I add an x to them. And notice 10x plus 3x really is equal to what? 13x. So now, I've got 4 terms, and how can I factor that? Nicole? Nope. Close. Jairus? We're going to group them. 4 terms, what do we always do? We group. Now, what can I factor out of the first group, Jairus? A 2x. What's left? X plus 5. Put that in red. X plus 5. Oops. Okay. What can I factor out of the second group, please? Andranique?
3.
What kind of 3? Positive or negative?
Positive.
Oh, okay. Well, you have to say that. Don't just put a 3 there. Otherwise, it's the whole binomial times 3. It's plus 3. And what's left in the binomial? Oops, look what I did. I made my same mistake that I'm talking about. I didn't bring the plus sign down for the 15. Okay. What's left, Andranique?
X plus 5.
And my goal here with factor by grouping is to get 2 groups that are the same. To get 2 factors that are the same. And I have that. So what I can do is factor out the common polynomial, which is
X plus 5.
x plus 5 times the quantity of what? What's left?
2x plus 3.
Times the quantity of 2x plus 3. Yes, I understood. No, I did not. Okay. All right. So, now, You want to try that again?
Yes.
Now, I don't want you to be confused with, let's try like the old kind of trinomial. I'm going to do that on the side over here. Let's do like x squared plus 7x plus 10. What goes up top? What goes on the top? Slil?
The 10.
A 10. And on the bottom? John?
7.
And what are my two numbers, my two factors? Ian?
2 and 5.
2 and 5. And so when I factor this, it's much easier. What's the square root of x squared?
X.
X and x. And now I'm just taking these straight and putting them here. Plus 2 plus 5. Now, are you understanding how this is different than when we have the lead coefficient? Let me use some outline in yellow. Okay, you will notice that here, when I get these, I break it up here into two terms, and I still use the first term and the last term. Are you with me?
The first term is only 1, so it doesn't.
I use the first term exactly as it is, the last term, and I only break up that middle term, like this. With this, when I get those two factors, I can insert them right into my binomials. Do you understand the difference? Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no. Okay. All right, let's practice one, okay? Okay. So, step 1, you guys walk me through it. What am I doing first? What am I doing first? Zach.
Multiplying 3 and 4 and making your x minus this
Okay, and what do I do with that 3 and 4, that 12? That positive?
on top.
On top. Okay, now what? John?
You put the 8 on the bottom.
Okay, and what are my two numbers? Platty?
+6 and
+6, +2. Now, what do I use out of this original equation? What am I using? How about Gabby?
The GCF.
Nope. What do I use, Nicole?
3x squared.
I'm using the original 3x squared. And I'm also using what else out of the original equation?
4.
The +4. And in the middle, what's going to go in there, Gabby?
The 6 and the 2.
Is it just +6 and +2, or
Plus 6x.
+6x plus 2x? Would it matter if I had done +2x plus, let's try +2x. It looks like it'd be awkward. Well, let's do it both ways. +6x plus 2x. Okay? And I'll just do that other one over here in red. 3x squared plus 2x plus 6x plus 4. Okay, so now what would be my next step? How about Leora?
Group them.
I'm going to group them. And what can I factor out of the first group, Leora?
3.
Mm.
3 and
3x, and what's left?
x plus 2.
X plus 2. And what can I factor out of the second group, please, Hike?
2.
What kind of 2?
Positive 2.
Make sure and use that sign. And what's left?
X plus 4. X plus 2.
X plus 2. And what's my final answer here? Caleb?
3x.
How about we...
Plus 2 times the quantity of x plus
3x plus 2 times the quantity of x, the binomial x plus 2. Now let's try the next one. I'm going to just group it, and I'm going to do it really quickly for you. I can factor out an x. And what's left is an x plus 2, right? What can I factor out of the second group?
3x.
Oh, sorry, 3x. 3x. And what can I factor out of the next one? Somebody I haven't heard from. How about Andranique?
2.
Plus 2. Okay, and what's left?